Knicks insider Ian Begley has recently given a shocking update about the Knicks draft plans, and we have to talk about this because this is pretty surprising considering the news that has recently been coming out. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as always because Ian Begley was fielding questions about the NBA draft, and when asked about the Knicks' plans for trading their picks, something that has been common knowledge that people think the Knicks are going to do, Begley responded by saying, if I had to guess, the Knicks make at least one of their three picks this year. They own number 24, 25, and number 38. So 2 picks in the first round in a row at the end, and then obviously that 38th overall pick early in the second round. And when you look at it, we've seen nothing but the New York Knicks are probably going to trade their picks. They're going to target a star. They're not going to look to add talent in the NBA draft. Well, Ian Begley has said what I've said a lot, where I do think the Knicks are going to bring in a rookie at the very least. Begley believes the Knicks are going to make at least one of their 3 draft picks. And honestly, I'm not surprised at all. It is kind of shocking to think about because not too long ago, it seemed almost impossible that the Knicks were going to bring in any rookies. And maybe that seems a little different now. And Begley continued talking, mentioning that as everyone knows, the Knicks are going to be aggressive in trade pursuits this offseason. If the Knicks have the chance to add a top player who fits the roster, they will go after that player vigorously, risking all their draft picks. The Knicks took that approach in the 2022 offseason with Donovan Mitchell, and Begley expects them to do so again if the right opportunity is there. So it's not saying that the Knicks are certainly going to take a draft pick. It's not saying that the Knicks are certainly not going to use any of their draft picks. Essentially, what Ian Begley is saying is, first things first, the Knicks are going to continue doing what they've been doing over the last 2 to 3 years, which is patiently waiting for a star to strike at. They went for Donovan Mitchell. They didn't get him. Maybe things worked out for the best that they didn't because they would have had to give up so much. And this Knicks team works so well. They wouldn't have had Anunoby. They wouldn't have been able to build this roster that we've seen, when healthy, could have been a true NBA Finals contender this season. Now, obviously, the Knicks weren't healthy, so that kind of put a damper on things. But even so, the Knicks were the second best team in the Eastern Conference this year. It's not like they need some massive changeup to be a true Finals contender. However, it is important to add rookies for the small rookie contracts, especially when you're picking later in the first round and in the second round. These contracts are smaller. You're not giving out in a few years over $10 million for a rookie. Alexandre Sarr is going to be the first overall pick to the Atlanta Hawks. I know that's not set in stone, but I'm telling you now, the Hawks are going to take Alexandre Sarr because they just are going to trust that he turns into Jaren Jackson Jr., which is kind of the hope with Sarr, and he might not. I kind of think he's not going to pan out. It happens. It happened before with Porzingis and then Dragan Bender, where you see a guy who worked out like a risky foreign pick. Obviously, Wemby wasn't that risky. But you see a guy who worked out like a different foreign pick who kind of emulates that game, and you pick him hoping you're going to get the next coming of this guy. It also happened with Luka and then Deni Avdija. And Denny's actually getting it together, unlike Dragan Bender, who's been out of the league for a while now, even though he was drafted less than 10 years ago. So maybe, but I just don't see Sarr being anything more than like a 14 and 8 type player for his career. Maybe 2 blocks a game for a little bit. A solid center who can stretch the floor. And who knows, maybe the Hawks get really good, and that's all they need from him, and that first overall pick could work. But this is not Hawks Digest. I'm not here to break down the draft. I'll do that at some point on a live stream. We'll go deep into the draft if you guys want to see me do that. Maybe on tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow before the NBA game when we do the live stream then before the finals. But also, Begley gave a lot, and he also mentioned that he doesn't get the sense that they're fully committed to moving their 2024 picks. In some of New York's recent draft meetings, there's been discussion centered around finding players who can fill in a void. Because the Knicks, they were worried about the depth issues. After the injuries, they were worried about depth, and they might want to add depth through rookie contracts and through rookies who are going to be ready to play on day one. Now, a recent mock draft, only for the first round, gave some insight into some Knicks targets. This is from Bleacher Report. And both guys projected to being picked are NBA-ready guys in their 20s. At 24th overall, they're projected to take Terrence Shannon Jr. As Bleacher Report mentions in the article, it's impossible to rank where Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to go. Despite being one of the best college basketball players last year and someone who has the athleticism and all the tools to pan out in the NBA, he also is spending a little time off the court in court for allegedly doing some horrible, horrible things. Now, I don't know if he did it. I didn't research it at all. I'm not the guy to ask. Go look it up yourself if you want to see why Terrence Shannon Jr. is having some off-the-court issues. Who knows what the deal is? I'm not going to talk on it any further. And then also a guy who I've made 2 YouTube videos on and will probably make a third, Mr. Zach Edey, the 7'4" Canadian. And as I said, I love Edey. I think he can pan out and be a nice backup center in the NBA. The Knicks play drop coverage anyway, so they could figure out how to use Edey well. Also, if the NBA does get rid of the defensive 3 seconds rule, where there's a real chance they do to, bolster defense, Zach Edey becomes really valuable. So I could see the Knicks being smart, taking him, because the Knicks actually have a good front office for the first time in 20 million years. And because of that, they're going to look towards the future and look at situations like that. So I could totally see them going for Edey. It also gives you a little more leniency to trade Mitchell Robinson, who teams do seem to have some sort of interest in. But also, when you look at what Ian Begley has said, and when you look here where Begley mentions, could the Knicks be prepping for multiple scenarios on draft night? Absolutely, because NBA front offices are always responsible for prepping for all possibilities in the offseason. So the Knicks are probably talking through the possibilities of making their picks while also looking into trades. And that seems like the most likely scenario here, because when you look at the Knicks, they're just always prepared. They've always been prepared for everything except for when 7 different guys on their team got injured in the playoffs. That was the only time where the Knicks were not prepared, and that's an impossible situation to get prepared for. Now, if you add a few rookies who might be NBA ready, that helps a little bit. It also, you would have been able to see maybe this guy's got something, maybe we can make a trade, save some money or whatever. But that's not the case. It could be this season. I think the Knicks are going to pick either 24th or 25th overall. I think they're going to take a shot in a rookie, probably someone 21 years old who they could plug in immediately if they need to, someone who fits the Tibbs mold. And another guy who the Knicks worked out today as I'm filming this video and as the day this video comes out, Ryan Dunn, a CAA client from Virginia, was working out with the New York Knicks. I think it's widely regarded if you look at Knicks Reddit, Knicks Twitter, anywhere that's covering the Knicks that actually knows what they're talking about, so essentially maybe not TikTok or Instagram. No shade to the Instagram creators. It's just most of you are on Twitter. Like my guy, Knicks Feed. Shout out Knicks Feed. That's the dude. But really, I think they'd look for Ryan Dunn. Excellent defender, NBA ready. Yeah, the shooting is a little suspect, but he could back up OG in any scenario. That's been talked about a lot. Again, CAA client. It wouldn't be shocking to see the Knicks go for Ryan Dunn. I think he'll be available at 38, but the Knicks might not pick at 38, as The Athletic recently reported that many league sources expect significant movement within the first 10 picks of the second round. The Knicks obviously have 24, 25, and 38, and it's not hard to see a Tom Thibodeau, or it is hard to see a Tom Thibodeau team bring in 3 rookies. Now, the only counter I'll say to that is if the Knicks make a trade, I think it would be one of the first rounders over the 38th pick just for value purposes. Teams look at a first round pick and just value it a little bit higher anyway. If they're a bad front office, which, there's around 10 teams in the NBA that have actively poor front offices because that's how basketball works. There's going to be a bottom third. The Knicks are a top 5 front office, so they could probably fool some team where they could still pick up Ryan Dunn at 38th overall and trade the 25th pick when really they wanted to go in there and get some prospect, maybe Kel'el Ware, and then go in and get Ryan Dunn in the second round. I think if the Knicks did those 2 picks, then traded their other one for a future first or something like that, we'd walk out of that draft saying A+, or at least I would, and I'd do a whole video on it. For some reason, the draft is on 2 different days. It's on June 26th, the day after my 23rd birthday, and then June 27th at 4 p.m. Like on June 26th, on the main first round day, it's at 8 p.m. If you're going to separate draft classes, and this is completely different, don't do the lottery, and then the next day do the rest of it. Because at least the lottery is more interesting than who's tuning in at 4 p.m. for the second round of the NBA draft? Are you? I'm not. I might turn it on once I hear, oh, the 37th pick just ended. Knicks are up. Yeah, then I might turn on my TV for 3 seconds, wait for the Knicks to pick someone, probably Ryan Dunn if he's there and the Knicks are picking, or just see them trade something and be like, oh, that's a guy I'll never hear about again. Cool. And then just turn my TV off and go back to doing whatever the hell I was doing before at 4 p.m. on a friggin' Thursday or whatever. I don't know, guys. But look, comment down below what you think about this. Should they make a draft pick? Should they make 2 draft picks? Should they make 3 draft picks? Let me know what y'all think. Like this video, subscribe to Knicks Digest, turn on post notifications, tune in to tomorrow's live stream at 6:30 p.m. We're going to go live, talk about some Knicks trade targets once again. We're also going to talk just whatever you guys want to hear from me. Send me some questions. I'm still trying to figure out a nice little format for this. Soon we're going to get people calling in. I'm probably going to start doing some guessing games and stuff like that. Like I'll ask y'all some Knicks trivia. You call the line in, I'll answer, be like, yo, who was the Knicks draft pick in, like, I don't know, 2006? I have no idea who it was. Comment down below because one of you is going to be like, well, the Knicks draft pick was this in 2006. And I don't know why I'm making fun of you. That'd be cool information. So let me know. Catch you guys on the next one. Go Knicks.